over the years have been collecting Sonos gear, which is like multi-room audio for my home, but there are alternatives out there that can offer good sound and maybe even a little bit cheaper. To help us look at one of those solutions from Amazon is our good friend Ted Kritsonos. He's live with us from Toronto. Thanks for joining us, Ted.
Good to be with you guys. How are you?
Fantastic. You have recently had a chance to check out one of their new speakers, Amazon's new speaker called the Echo Studio. And this is a beefed up smart speaker that I guess I would say would be competing with like the Sonoses and the Bose of the world. Is that correct?
I think that's the idea. This is probably the first Amazon speaker that I can think of where audio is not just a major consideration, but actually a big takeaway, especially when you listen to it. It is beefed up. You mentioned that it's beefed up. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's like mutated. It looks like a mutated Echo speaker from the past.
Yeah.
And of course, that's because of all the extra stuff that they put inside, right? So, I mean, it's a very capable speaker. It's 330 watts of power inside. So the thing can get pretty loud. And of course, there are all the tech features that are inside that we can get to as we go along here.
So from what I understand, this comes in around $259, which for this type of speaker, do you think that's a good price, Ted?
It's in the same ballpark, more or less, as a Sonos One. The Sonos One is cheaper, but the Sonos One is also smaller and is not going to get as loud as the Echo Studio. So you do have to weigh out what it is you're looking for, right? There are similarities between the two. There's a voice assistant built into this. This is an Echo Studio after all, so Alexa is a big part of the whole thing, whereas the Sonos One gives you Alexa and Google Assistant all in one. You can stereo pair, so if you have two Sonos Ones, one could be the left channel, the other could be the right channel. Echo Studio offers you the same thing as well. But of course, they're playing in different sandboxes aside from that. So being that it's an Amazon speaker and an Alexa speaker, it means that it can interface with other Amazon products. So, for example, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, no, keep going. So, if you had other Amazon Echo devices, this would work with it.
Yeah. So, for example, if you have an Echo Sub, so the Echo Sub was launched last year. That was designed to offer, like any subwoofer, to give you a real oomph on the bass. And that's exactly what it does when you pair it with the Echo Studio. So, when you have a speaker like the Studio, which is demonstrably better than anything Amazon's ever done as far as audio products go, and then you match it with something like the Sub, it makes a big difference. You can also pair it with TV products. So the Fire TV Cube and the Fire TV Stick 4K also work wirelessly with the Echo Sub. So with the Echo Studio. So you can actually use the Echo Studio as your TV speaker as well. And you can have the Sub work with the Echo Studio while it's also still working with one of the Fire TV products. So you can kind of see how all this stuff comes together in a way that's supposed to be holistic.
So let's talk about the tech inside the actual new Echo Studio. Is there anything in there that makes it different than its competitors?
Yeah, so there's a feature in there called Spatial Stereo Enhancement. And the idea being that the speaker is monitoring, it's almost like it's checking out the room that it's in, and it's adjusting also the music that's playing so that it's supposed to sound better. It's supposed to improve the audio experience. I've tried it, and I've tried it without it. And to be honest with you guys, I preferred when it was turned off. I just to be very honest with you guys, I mean I get what they're trying to do, and I think. And I'll get to this in a second because there's other tech involved, but I just found that music resonated a little bit more, especially with the treble and vocals. So if you're listening to music, obviously that had lyrics and a fair amount of treble, so if you're a classic rock fan, smooth jazz fan, something like that, it just sounded better when it was turned off. So I don't know. I think it's a work in progress. Maybe Amazon will make it better, but if I was a betting man, I would bet on Sonos's TruePlay technology over what Amazon attempted with here.
Do you think it might have something to do with the layout of the place where you actually place the studio?
Well, no, I don't think so, John, because I think the Amazon says that you have to recalibrate the speaker no matter how you move it.
Okay.
So literally, if you moved it from one side of the room to the other, you would actually have to recalibrate it again. It's not like it knows intrinsically what it has to do.
Right.
It doesn't seem to be built in that way. Now, in fairness, with Sonos speakers, it's the same way. If you move a Sonos speaker, they advise that you recalibrate it when you do so. So it's the same situation here. And even when I did that, I tried it in different places. I just never really was sold on the tech. I just don't think it's where Amazon is saying it is just yet.
They're also pretty new in that kind of space as far as,
Totally.
the taking advantage of all the onboard microphones and everything else to sort of analyze that from an, I hesitate to use like a pro audio level or a higher premium
No,
level.
but you know what? You picked the right words, because that's actually exactly what they're going for here.
Yeah.
Pro audio is very much in play with the Echo Studio, largely because it supports 360 audio. So if people, if listeners aren't familiar, or viewers aren't familiar, 360 audio is essentially it's like it sounds. It's basically propagating sound in a way that makes it seem like it's coming from different directions, and so there is music that has been recorded and mastered in 360 audio. Tidal, for example, offers about 1,000 songs right now that have that technology, which are compatible with the Echo Studio. However, in Canada, we do not have Amazon Music HD. So what is considered HD audio or HD audio tracks are not available here like they are in the US. Those also would work on the studio, and presumably they would benefit from some of the tech that we're talking about here.
So, just talking again about the multi-room aspect of this, I think a lot of people out there are starting to see that their Amazon Echo speakers are starting to propagate in their different rooms. And again, this new studio one's like kind of the big granddaddy or grandmama of them all as far as the quality. What kind of interface are you using to play the music? I know the nice thing about Sonos is they've got their own app, and it makes it super easy to get all your subscription services and stuff in there to access all your music. How are you doing it with the Amazon side?
It's very easy, actually. So you can access the Echo Studio really from any app that you're playing music from, for the most part. So, for example, if you're playing from Spotify, Spotify has a feature wherein any connected speaker is accessible through the app. So you can just do it that way. Or you can actually just talk to the speaker and tell it where you want it to play the music from. So if you're a premium subscriber with Spotify, for example, you can ask for an artist, an album, a track, a playlist. Even if you created the playlist, it'll recognize what you called it, and it can play music from there. If you want it to shuffle, you can shuffle the tracks too. So whether you're using an app on your phone or using your voice, a lot of these things are accessible. Of course, there are limits. If you're an Apple Music subscriber, you're not going to be playing any tracks by voice through the Echo Studio. So there are some limitations as far as that goes.
Ted, overall, and you've been in this business a long time. You've seen Sonos, you've seen Bose, you've seen all the players out there. Is this a good buy for someone that wants to, start adding to their speaker collection in their home?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because if you're saying adding, or if you're starting from scratch, they are kind of two different things. So if you are looking for a speaker that has Alexa because you like using Alexa, great. But recognize that you're also buying something that you need to place in a spot where you can enjoy the audio quality. This isn't one of the other Echo speakers where you're putting in a room and you're getting decent audio quality, but ultimately you're doing it because you just want Alexa in the room. This is going beyond that. So I would definitely look to get a studio and consider also maybe getting two of them, especially the second one maybe down the line when there's going to be a discounted price on it, and you can get it for a little bit cheaper. You can get two Sonos ones for less money than two Echo Studios, but at the same time, if you wanted to add the sub, Sonos is far more expensive than Amazon is in that case.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
think
a bit of a trade-off.
Yeah, I think the sub goes for about $169, which is pretty reasonable for a sub. The Sonos one's a little bit more.
Well, and that was the reason why I opted to go with the Amazon ecosystem in the first place. Sonos is a great system, don't get me wrong, but it is a lot more expensive.
Yeah. And this now will basically do the same thing. And it looks like they're trying to get more into the premium speaker category. Ted, I want to thank you so much. Ted has actually written a great review of the Amazon Echo Studio up on our website, GetConnectedMedia.com. He's going to be a regular contributor as well. So don't hesitate to check it out and also comment on it. If it sucks, let us know. And this will be his last article ever. I'm teasing you, Ted. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, always a pleasure, guys.